Hello, we are the Group 22 and we are tasked to create a meal plan for a culturally diverse patient, specifically Muslim culture. So, in creating the meal plan, we have followed a specific dietary guidelines in order to fit into the cultural or the religious beliefs of Muslim culture. So, for instance, we have considered the permitted or the halal foods and the prohibited or the haram foods. So, our case was a 38-year-old woman, Muslim patient that weighs 57 kilograms and stands 5'4" in height. So, the calculated total energy allowance was 1,800 kilocalories and the diet prescription was 290 grams carbohydrates, 70 grams proteins, and 40 grams fat.
Green bean. When buying a green bean, so select a brightly colored, unblemished green and the wax beans with the smooth pods that are crisp enough to snap when bent in half, and slender pods indicate tenderness. And look for the surface of the bean, so the skin should be smooth and tight. And if you find that the skin has a weathered bumps, lumps, and creases, that's a problem. And the surface tells you a lot about how the beans might taste. And when the beans are in their midsummer peak, so look for a brightly colored beans that feels firm. And bend the pod, wait until you hear that all too familiar snapping sound. So when the beans are ripe, they should snap quickly and easily. And you don't have to snap every bean, but testing one in every batch is a surefire way to make sure that once you are baking will be delicious. And feel for the moisture. So when a green bean are old and dry, so they lack the sweet flavor we know and love. So you can tell how dry the beans are by touching them. And next is the pineapple. So choose a fresh looking pineapples with a green leaves and a firm shell. And the pineapple should also have a small amount of give when squeezed gently. And make sure that the pineapples feels heavy and not hollow. And you should be able to smell the distinctive pineapple smell when you put your nose close to the bottom of the fruit. And the round things over the pineapples are called the eyes. So they should be uniform in shape and size on the pineapple. And next is the chicken breast. So always look at the label, so no matter which part of the chickens are buying, each package is labeled with K-term. So it should be hormone-free, natural and all-natural, USDA organic, air-chilled, and antibiotic-free. And when purchasing a fresh chicken, so make sure that there is no smell or no off smell, and fresh poultry should have a very little or no smell. And chicken breast should be plump with a very little pink flesh with a little fat. And if you know what chicken should look like and how it should, or in this case shouldn't, so smell. So you'll be able to make the right choice when faced with a pan roast of chicken in the refrigerated case in the grocery store.
In purchasing our lemons, select firm and plump lemons that are heavy for their size. The peels should be a bright yellow color and glossy with no hint of green, which indicates that they are unripe. Choose smooth-skinned lemons for juicing and bumpy thick-skinned lemons for zesting. Refrigerate lemons in a plastic food storage bag for up to 3 weeks, checking them periodically for signs of mold. Wrap cut lemons tightly in plastic wrap and refrigerate for up to 3 days. Next is our garlic. In selecting a good garlic, we need to pick the bulb up and give it a light squeeze to be sure that none of the outside cloves are too soft or dry. It should feel firm and not hollow or dehydrated. Also keep an eye for sprouting, which is another indicator that the garlic is old. Try to select the garlic that has no sprouting forming out of the bulbs. Next is our brown rice. Because brown rice contains the healthy natural oils, it has a shorter shelf life than refined white rice. The shelf life is about 6 months, although that time can be extended considering if the rice is refrigerated. Check for usability dates on the packages, or when buying in bulk, choose a store that has a higher turnover.
Let's start with the morning snacks. AM snacks. Sweet potatoes with a uniform color and firm skin are best bought. Buying sweet potatoes should be free of bruises and sprouting. Larger ones are stringier and needs a longer time to cook. Small sweet potatoes have a smoother texture but less flesh or meat. They may be hard to find in some locations, so always make sure to check for a consistent shade and skin tone. Sprouting and bruising indicate potatoes' taste is fading. Orange. The best oranges are firm, full-colored, silky, and thin-skinned. Avoid fruits and vegetables that are excessively soft, moldy, or have bruising. Fear not minor skin scratches or marks. This is termed wind scarring and occurs when fruit brushes against tree, branches in windy conditions. Your orange should be brilliant in color. Look for a bright, solid orange in navels. Rod Valencias may still be green due to chlorophyll reabsorption while hanging on the tree during the summer. Don't be hesitant to smell or sniff it. The skin of the sweetest and ripest fruits will emit the aroma of their juices. Mixed nuts that include dried fruits, seeds, and peanuts. Nuts are a great source of nourishment but avoid sugar and salt-coated nuts. Look for fruit and nut mixes, so check for the content and nutritional label, and it's no longer a healthy choice if it contains candies, chocolates, and deep-fried crispy nibbles. Dessert-themed trail mix, names like s'more and monster usually signify gobs of extra sugar. Check the sodium content of savory trail mixes, and blends of spices and herbs can be strongly reliant on salt for flavor. Taho with arnibal and sago. Tofu should have a clean, fresh fragrance and be white in color. A sour odor or discoloration indicates that the tofu has been exposed to temperature changes or has sat on the shelf for quite some time or an extended period of time. Syrup is made of water and sugar, which is sometimes extracted with vanilla, which must be clean, purified, and fresh, and the sugar must be up to date and sweet enough in order for it to be considered fresh.
Pairing all complete combination. So the first thing you need to wear is a shirt, next is long pants, a pair of comfortable shoes, and a coat. So the coat is used to protect the clean clothes inside, while cooking it is also used in order for us to have a neat appearance. And lastly, we need to tie up our hair in a bun and wear our hairnet to keep our hair from falling into the foot and our face.
In preparing a meal, we must observe good sanitation to ensure cleanliness and to reduce the risk of transferring microorganisms. Here are some guidelines. First, observe proper hygiene and dress code, such as wearing hairnet and apron if there is any available. Next is perform hand washing. We must wash our hands with water and soap.
When cooking with sharp knives and intense heats, accidents are bound to happen in the kitchen. Here are some kitchen safety tips to practice in your home. Number 1. Wear shoes. Wearing shoes while you cook is recommended. Not only the shoes will protect you from fallen sharp objects, but they will also protect you from other kitchen accidents, such as broken glass and hot water spills or oil spills. Number 2. Learn how to extinguish a fire. Cooking is the leading cause of fires and injuries that occur in our homes. Be sure to always have a fire extinguisher in your kitchen and learn how to use it. It takes only seconds for a fire to get uncontrollable. Learn about the different types of fires such as grease and electric fires. Never put them out with water. Instead, your best bet is to extinguish or use a baking powder or pan cover. Suffocating the fire by removing air is the best way to put out most fires. Number 3 is learn how to use knives. A dull knife is more likely to slip and cut you more than a sharp knife. Keeping your knives sharpened is one of the easiest ways to keep them safe. A simple fix is to use a knife sharpener to maintain keen-edged blade. Also, you should choose the appropriate knife for the task at hand. Number 4, wear safe clothing. Do not wear long, baggy sleeves in the kitchen. Can you imagine your sleeve catching fire on a gas stove? The outcome could be scary. In general, tops with fitted sleeves or no sleeves work best. Also, avoid wearing anything flammable or synthetic when overheated. These fabrics can melt onto your skin. Number 5 is to prevent burns. Make sure when cooking that the handles of your pots and pans are turned inward. This will be safer than someone knocking into them, resulting in your food flying and burning you. Always have pot holders or oven mitts close by when handling anything on the stovetop or oven. Don't use wet pot holders or dish rugs because they will not keep the heat from burning your hand. Number 6 is to always wash your hands. You would think that this is a given fact, but people tend to forget this. Don't forget, it is important to wash your hands in a hot, soapy water before and after cooking. Try to use paper towels to dry your hands afterwards because if a dish towel touches any raw meats or juices, it can lead to a bad case of food poisoning. Be sure to also clean all your surfaces and sinks where any raw meats or juices may have touched. Number 7 is to always steer and lift away from you. When lifting a lid on a pot, there is a condensation on the top. When lifting it off towards you, the scalding condensation can drip onto your skin, causing burns. The same goes for steering. make sure you always steer away from your body. Number 8 is to don't set a hot glass dish on a wet or cold surface. There's actually a lot of science behind this tip. Glass expands when it gets warm and shrink when it cools down, which causes stress resulting in a combustion of glass. The best place to set a glass lid is on top of a cutting board or a pot holder. Number 9 is to don't use metal utensils on a non-stick pan. Cooking with metal utensils on a non-stick pan can cause flaking and chipping of the pan. This can in turn mix toxic compounds into your food. A better solution is to always use a wooden or plastic spoon. Number 10 is to don't use the same cutting board for raw meats, fruits, and vegetables. We all want to avoid washing extra dishes, but this is one area which you shouldn't take shortcuts. Using the same cutting board for meats, fruits, and vegetables is a surefire way to get the whole family sick with salmonella poisoning. The FDA advises you to use 2 separate cutting boards, one for raw meat, poultry, and seafoods, and another for fresh fruits and vegetables. If you must use the same board, it's safest to prepare your fruits and vegetables first, wash your cutting board thoroughly with soap and hot water, and then prepare your meat.